Hello everyone. This video was shared last night and it shows a Russian attempt to recapture the settlement of Zhuravlevka in Belgorod going a bit wrong. Now, I didn't know this settlement was in Ukrainian hands. Ukraine entered it late last year around October time, and Russian media claimed to have liberated it. So, did Ukraine stay in the settlement that long? I don't think so, but I'll get to that later on. This was a big push towards the town, as you can see. So Russia was definitely eager to get Ukraine out, and they lost multiple vehicles in the process. This featured mainly BMPs, ATVs, and motorcycles. Losses are reported as being 10 BMPs destroyed, plus an unknown number of ATVs and motorcycles. So, quite high. The vehicles here, mainly targeted by drones with some artillery strikes hitting them as well. Now, an interesting one, as I didn't know Ukraine had control of this settlement. There's also some still photos showing the losses, some of them featuring the videos, but you can see them a bit better with the screenshots, so I'll take a look at them. So in this first one, you can see two BMPs abandoned and destroyed by the side of a road. Image number 2, a completely destroyed BMP 2. Just to the left of it, you can see a motorcycle as well abandoned. Another BMP 2 is shown in this screenshot here, and here, abandoned ATVs and quad bikes. And finally, a bunch of abandoned motorcycles. So, pretty high losses it seems. Not every video clip and vehicle location has been geolocated, but we do have enough to give us some idea of the route taken here, where this was and that sort of thing. Mark Laston and PJ Glick on Twitter did the geolocation for these ones. First up, the two vehicles we saw getting drone dropped were geolocated to be in this tree line here. These, we already saw abandoned, so I'm not sure what hit them originally. There's a small river, and we saw in the video that the little bridge to the north is destroyed. So it looks like point of a river here which is crossable, and that is what these two BMPs were attempted to do before Ukraine got them. Near those drone dropped BMPs, there's something unknown detonating in the tree line. I couldn't tell what. I wonder if some type of howitzer or vehicle to provide fire support for the operation here. Because, if we zoom out a tad, this tree line is about 4 kilometers from the target settlement. So far, we have two BMPs hit whilst crossing the river en route and abandoned, and then drone dropped, something unknown in the tree line nearby, which to me seems like something providing fire support towards a town given its location. But I can't be sure, because unfortunately, we only see the blast and don't actually see the vehicle in question. Moving on, two BMPs here actually in Ukraine and heading back to Russia. This is an odd one, as these are about 5 kilometers from the others and whilst in the same area, aren't near Zhuravlevka. I wonder if they were carrying out a diversionary operation towards Zhuralevka to divert Ukraine's attention from the true push. But I guess we'll check deep states and see who occupies this area, the control of this area and that sort of thing. And let's also see what future geolocations tell us. Another one here which was in Ukraine just over the border. This one heading from the south going north. There were a couple of older wrecks nearby which were unrelated to the battle here. This is added to our map here. So, at this point I am thinking this action on the border region was an attempt of some sort of diversionary raid to distract Ukraine from the key target of Zhuravlevka. Next up, a burned out tank and a BMP. The tank looks like it may be older. The BMP was from this incident and is completely burnt out. Now, the geolocation for this is again in the similar area. So it's making me think this wasn't a diversionary raid as such, but possibly a two-pronged push here with different goals. But again, we'll see when we check deep states. Here's the final geolocated vehicle. This is on the outskirts of Zhuravlevka. I doubt this one can be repaired somehow, unless Russia has a lot of superglue handy. A bit of this one came close to intercepting a passing pigeon, it went that high. The turret didn't toss, but a big part of the vehicle did. So here's our map overall at the moment. So it's looking like two different pushes here, one towards Zhuravlevka, the other one is heading towards the border region. There were other losses and the like that weren't geolocated as they were too zoomed in, but those ones were from in and around Zhuravlevka itself. As mentioned earlier, 10 BMP variants, most of them appearing to be BMP2s from what we can tell, were destroyed in this raid. We also have a possible tank and the unknown system in the tree line, so pretty good going by Ukraine. Not to mention all of the motorcycles and the quad bikes that we also saw in the photos and videos. Now here was another vehicle destroyed. This one I'll do separately as it's quite interesting. As well as the BMPs, Russia also up-armoured a Ural truck and strapped a cope cage onto it. We saw a couple of up-armoured cope cage-equipped Euro trucks being used as an assault vehicle, and there's another one. This one is targeted with an FPV drone in this clip, with 2 soldiers making a hasty escape. So add a cope cage Euro truck to the list of losses. I've added it to our map. So, not far from the BMP we saw detonating. Then zoomed out on the eastern edge of the settlement of Zhuravlevka. This is the area of Zhuravlevka here, on deep states. You can see it's located very close and just to the west of the area of Kharkiv where Russia crossed the border and currently occupies a number of towns. Russia crossed the border here late last year. The other losses, the ones which were just over the border, were actually in Russian-occupied territory. They may have been actually unrelated to the action around Zhuravlevka and just so happened to occur on the same day. Likely Russian troop movements and resupply movements and the like in this occupied area, but I can't tell for certain. Now, as for reports that Ukraine captured it and Russia pushed them out, this happened firstly in October 2024, and I think Russia did push them out. I just can't see Ukraine occupying the settlement since then until now, and nobody knowing they were there online with all the OSINT groups and that sort of thing, and seeing no videos of Russia targeting Ukrainians in the settlement. What I think happened here is Ukraine carried out a rapid cross-border crossing into Zhuravlevka in the past couple of days, which wasn't shared or reported widely online, Ukraine keeping quiet about it. It may have even been yesterday. They occupied the town, or at least large parts of it, pushing to the eastern edges, and what we're seeing here is a Russian counterattack to push Ukraine back before they can gain a foothold in the town. Whether this crossing succeeded or not, or whether Ukraine occupies the town still or not, I don't know. But I think we need to turn this into contested on deep states for now. This you can see is clearly an attempt by Ukraine to put pressure on the western edge of Russia's ongoing Kharkiv offensive. Occupying this area will give Ukraine a strong position to counter Russia here, possibly even start cutting off Russian supplies in the area. Given the heavy fighting we saw in the videos in and around Zhuravlevka and the high losses, I definitely think there is a sizable Ukrainian presence in the town. I don't think Russia would use so much armour and ATVs and motorcycles if we're looking at just a small team of infiltrators here. This looked to be an even bigger response by Russia than their ongoing efforts to retake the parts of Tekhino which Ukrainian troops are in. So I definitely think this has got the top brass concerned. We also saw the combat is taking place on the eastern edge of the settlement. This is where the vehicles were dismounting troops and the like. So it isn't like Ukraine has only reached the outskirts. This looks like Ukraine penetrated quite far. So definitely an area we need to keep an eye on here. I'm surprised this hasn't caused more of a stir really, because Zhuravlevka is no small settlement either. It's not a little village with 3 small wooden huts occupied by a man, his wife and a dog. It's a town of over 1,000 people, so not huge, but certainly more substantial than a poxy 4-house village. And it is a smart move by Ukraine here, putting pressure on Russia's western flank in the occupied areas of Kharkiv. Hopefully Ukraine can hold their positions here, and hopefully it helps them push Russia out of this area of Kharkiv. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this area and wait and see what happens. Now I'm going to play 2 videos from NAFO. This is about the new NAFO Fundraiser to help buy equipment for Ukraine, and it features new patches featuring the channel mascot, my pet rabbit, Muffin, looking very cute. The donation link and the information is in the description. Big thanks to everybody who's going to help out. I'm going to play the videos about the fundraiser now. Thanks so much, and take care everybody.
Good evening. We are a reconnaissance crew of a 3rd Assault Brigade. Since 2024, for many months, we hold the front line in Kharkiv region. Non-stop battles require a lot of equipment. Therefore, we need help from you, our friends from Help 99 and NAFO. We really need DJI Mavic drones, specifically 8 Mavic 3T and 6 Mavic 3 Pro. Also, we have need of a pickup truck. Thank you for your help. Everything would be much harder without you. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
UAV company split of 13th Battalion 95th Air Assault Brigade. We're in dire need of a pickup truck for evacuating wounded personnel and for completing combat missions. On top of that, we also need Mavic 3T drones to enhance our reconnaissance and combat capabilities. We ask NAFO and charity fund 99, Help 99, to provide us with said equipment. Glory to Ukraine.